Today on the podcast, it's November, and November is Gluten-Free Diet Awareness Month. And a few months back, I've got a couple family members who are gluten-free. We stumbled into a restaurant on 28th Street in Grand Rapids called Papa Chops, and it was the best gluten-free food I'd ever had. So I've been very excited to get Kerry on the podcast. So today, we're talking Papa Chops, we're talking gluten-free, and we're doing it right now. And as I said today, because November is Gluten-Free Diet Awareness Month, I thought we would go talk to my friend Kerry and her restaurant Papa Chops, because I said in the intro, this is the best gluten-free food I've had ever. So I wanted to have you, Kerry, and talk a little bit about where Papa Chops came from, and without giving away any of the secrets, kind of how you're able to do exactly what it is that you do. So first, welcome, and how are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Papa Chops, family owned. My husband was diagnosed with celiac disease right before he turned 40 years old. And we have 4 children. And so we were, trying to navigate this and to figure out how we're going to manage this really life-altering autoimmune disorder that was my husband. We had young kids at the time, still do. And so we 6 to 16. And so, we started with our house and trying to, make it safe for my husband so that he wasn't getting sick, because anytime he comes into contact with gluten, he gets very, very ill, and it also damages his small intestine. So we started there, and then, we wanted to go out to eat as a family every once in a while. We'd go out to eat, and no matter what the precautions that were taken, if there were any to be taken, he would end up sick. And so it's expensive to go out to eat. So we go out, we pay a bunch of money, and then my husband would be sick for days. So we were just sitting in the living room one night, and we were talking, and how cool would it be if there was a completely gluten-free restaurant that my husband and people like him could go in and eat and feel safe. So we're part of the Greater Grand Rapids Gluten-Free Support Group. So we reached out to them just to see, hey, community, what would you think about this? And the response was amazing. The number one thing people wanted was to be able to go in and not worry. They wanted to feel safe when they were going out to eat, have some options, as opposed to just a plain chicken breast and a salad with no croutons and rice. And so we're like, okay, so my husband left commercial real estate. He went back to culinary at Sequia with Grand Rapids Community College, met an aspiring chef, and they began working on it. So then we ended up selling our home and downsizing to a different place to get some equity to put into this dream that we had. And then the pandemic hit. So that was really interesting. And so then, eventually we were able to, with the support of so many people in our lives, we're able to open Papa Chops, which everyone always asks where Papa Chops name came from. And our kids, my husband was cooking in the house. My house became the test kitchen for the restaurant because there's no gluten-free test kitchens. So that became my kitchen. And throughout that, they started calling him Papa Chops. And that's where the name came from.
I want to go back a couple steps here.
Yeah.
Because we go from having celiac disease to selling your house. I feel like there's a couple steps in there. At what point do you and your husband, first of all, what was the impetus for him to go to culinary school? What was the thing that he went, okay, not only do I have this dream of having a place that I can go eat, and we'll get to what's on the menu items, which is, I think, what makes the place so magical. But not only can I go to this place and eat these things, but I want to actually be able to understand how to make them.
Yeah. So we thought there's a few things that we wanted to make sure we did right. And so he needed some certifications, to really become a restaurant owner. This is new for us. We had never done this before. I worked in the restaurant industry a lot in my younger days, but my husband really hadn't. And so he wanted to really, take the initiative, do it right. So that's how he ended up going back to culinary school, or going to culinary school at 40 some years old, was to really understand how to get some training, understand how this process could work. And he wanted to do it right. He didn't want to just, we didn't want to open something and not be prepared. And we wanted to deliver a quality product. So that was really what launched that. And then after, he went back to school and, was getting what he needed. We, just started the space that Papa Chops is in. My husband used to run a small printing business out of that space. It was called Rose Engraving. It was in Taglio, and the pandemic just killed it. And so we thought this space on 28th Street. So it was just really these building blocks that we just had to keep climbing and be able to get to the place where we are today.
So, Kerry, one of the cool things about one of the many cool things about Papa Chops is just the menu items. There are so many things that you typically don't see in a gluten-free restaurant. Like I said in the intro, I've got a couple family members who fall into this category, and you tend to go out to eat knowing that you're going to suffer through the fact that it's gluten-free, so no one's going to get sick, but you're not going to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
You have somehow jumped over that, and like the burger was amazing. The mozzarella sticks are awesome. And so talk to me about how you guys go about developing that menu and going, okay, these are the things that are going to end up on the menu. And then we're in the holiday season. If people are following you on Facebook, they're seeing that you're continually adding seasonal favorites to this menu. So again, like I said, without giving away any of the secrets, like what's the development process to know what's going to go on this menu and how you can satiate a desire for these products that people don't find at other restaurants, even if they're marked gluten-free?
Yeah, so the menu is really created based on all the things, like my husband's and our favorite foods that you normally can't get places. They're that aren't safe or they just don't exist. Like fried foods in particular are just not available to people who are gluten-free or have celiac disease. Like they just aren't available because number one, even if the ingredients are gluten-free, the fryer is contaminated because they cook so many things with flour or other gluten products. And so the fryer itself is not safe. So really we started, the Big Papa, for example, is like our version kind of a Big Mac. My husband was a big burger guy before he was diagnosed. And one of the things he missed the most. So I started going out to different stores and trying to find the best product. And the bun is really the hard part in that situation. Every bun we tried was either the wrong size, it was super dense, it would fall apart, it didn't taste good. And so we knew we had to try to find a good bun. So we did a lot of taste testing, a lot of like, will it hold up? Like it was a lot. And a lot of it was just in my home kitchen. Him and Thaddeus Worley, who opened Papa Chops with us, the three of us, we would sit and we would just try this, try that, try this, and try to get, to the right consistency, to the right good flavor. And so, yeah, all of our burgers really came from the heart. Like we wanted things that my husband cannot go through a drive-through and pick up a burger. And that's another unique thing about Papa Chops is we have a drive-through. And it sounds so silly, but like people with celiac or gluten-free can never go through a drive-through. Like it's just not available. Right. Like you can't. And we're in Michigan. Sometimes, we want to maybe quick go through a drive-through and grab a bite. And so we wanted to bring more than just the food, but the dining experience. That is something that was so missed. And so we spent a lot of times tweaking what we're doing. We're trying to improve our product all the time. We have an amazing team at Papa Chops that are so dedicated, and a lot of our staff aren't gluten-free. I tasted a lot of the things because for quality purposes, because my husband, the bar's pretty low when you're gluten-free. Like you don't have much to compare it to. Yeah, and so we needed people, gluten eaters, we needed those folks to also weigh in and say, yeah, like this tastes good. And it's worked. I had a customer about a year ago. He was, in the restaurant, I was working, I was just talking with him and I was like, oh, so like, do you have to be gluten-free or how long have you been gluten-free? Because that's talked about all the time in the restaurant. And he was like, gluten-free? What are you talking about? And I was like, he's like, wait a minute, is this place gluten-free? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, he's like, no, my buddy at work just told me you have an amazing chicken sandwich. So I just came on down. He's like, I didn't even know. And that was the goal, is we didn't want also family members to come in with their gluten-free partner or child and then feel like they had to sacrifice because gluten-free has a really bad rap. It's like, it doesn't taste good. It's gross. It's only weird health-based stuff, and it's gotten a really bad rep. So we wanted to also show the community, hey, you can eat gluten-free, and people are gluten-free for a variety of reasons besides celiac disease. It's not just that. And so we wanted to show, hey, no, you can eat gluten-free and it can be fun and it can taste really, really good.
You sort of hit on this, but I kind of want to hit on it again.
Yeah.
What has the response been so far?
Amazing. Like, we have the most amazing customer base. I worked in restaurants for a long time. And usually when you're talking with a customer, a lot of times it's because they're upset about something or that you know, they're disgruntled to some degree. We have customers who are just the absolute best. Like, they come in when opening day, we had a line like out the door around the corner. And we were just so amazed at how supportive and how wonderful the community has been. We always laugh because we have customers that come in and have not, it's like the number one thing we hear from customers is, like, we have people crying over onion rings because they haven't had an onion ring in 15 years. And
Yep.
our onion rings are amazing. And so, like, they come in and they're just like, really, I can order anything off this menu. Another part of our customer base that we knew but did not anticipate was kids. We knew children had this, but we didn't understand how meaningful this place is for children. So when you're a kiddo and you're at school and you're celiac or gluten free, you miss out on so many things. The birthday parties when people bring in treats, hot lunch, like all of these things that kids who can't have gluten, just they miss out. It's like a big piece of their childhood. And so we have customers who their first time they've brought in their child and they're 9 years old and they've never eaten a restaurant before, because adults will maybe risk themselves with gluten, but they won't risk their
Yes.
kid. They won't risk
Yeah.
their kid. So they don't want their child to be sick. So they come in and we have a huge wall in the restaurant with all of our kid drawings. If you complete we have like these, our coloring pages are our team, like our family and our team in anime form. And so the kids are able to color those. And then we really celebrate kids. They get a healthy gluten-free sucker and sugar-free. And then we, put those up on the wall and the kids come back and they check for their picture to make sure it's been put up there. And we have kids who come in for birthdays, and the kids we just really celebrate the kids because we know how challenging that is for a little one. And they might not even understand it, And so the kids and their families, like, we are just so blessed and so grateful for our customers. Like, they are amazing and they support us. And we couldn't ask for a better customer base.
So, Kerry, we're heading into the holidays. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
the menu is constantly evolving. What are you most excited about heading into the holidays, and what can people look forward to coming up next from Papa Chops?
Oh man, we're in soup season. So our soups are launching. So our chili, our broccoli cheddar, our one of our chefs, Corey, he is just the soup guru and he has just amazing skills with being able to create these soups. And soup you would think would be something that you probably could get gluten-free pretty readily. Not true at all. Like, it's not. There's wheat and all sorts of soups that you would never think. And so our tomato bisque, our broccoli cheddar, our cheese, or our chili are just some of our really staples in this winter season. Our first holiday season, we had only been open for about 6 months. So, like, we're still getting our footing with just doing Papa Chops. And I think this season we'll have some specials. Our chefs are always in the back. Anytime I come in, and I'm a social worker and I work in schools with mental health, with kiddos. And I come in and work. I'll be working the Saturday, and I meet with a team and stuff. And every time I come in, they're like, "Hey, did you try this? We're just making these, jalapeno cheddar biscuits. Can you try one real quick? See what you think?" And so, it's going to be a surprise. Like, we come up with this stuff and we just try to launch it. And we have some menu items that maybe we'll revisit as features that, we bring in depending on the season. At our 1 year anniversary, we did corn dogs. And let me tell you, they were the biggest hit. And it seems so simple again, but you can't get that at the county fair. Like, you can't do any of that. One of our cute recipes that I really helped was instrumental with is SpaghettiOs. again, it sounds so silly, but like, and we kind of were like, oh yeah, kids. Well, the kids have never had SpaghettiOs if they're gluten free because
Right.
they're not able to eat
Right.
them. What happened was, is all the adults, it was like this nostalgia from their childhood, and we ran a special for SpaghettiOs, and oh my goodness, like people were like just coming in and like, you still got SpaghettiOs, you still have SpaghettiOs, and so we try to make it fun. We try to do unique products, and stuff that we're going to have something like Thanksgiving-y, we're going to have some Christmas stuff, and for the holidays, and really try to run some features and celebrate what the holidays are, because holidays can be a really hard time when you're gluten-free. And
Absolutely.
so
So,
we get some requests, and we really, another thing I think my husband does amazing at is we really communicate with our community. So we're having constant conversation with our customers through social media, through them coming in. A lot of times some of our regulars will give them a taste test on something before we actually launch it, in the restaurant. And so it's a partnership with us and the community, and we want to know what the people want and what they're looking for. And so that's why we're kind of constantly evolving and changing and launching new things, is because we want this to be something that is memorable and a place that people can come and feel safe and enjoy and have a really nice time. Also with maybe, some of their favorites like an onion ring, mott stick, amazing French fries, things that just, sometimes you want those things as well.
Kerry, thank you so much for the time. Obviously, the restaurant is in Grand Rapids on 28th Street, but if people want to reach out, is Facebook the best? What's the best way for them to find you guys?
Yeah, Facebook, we're on Instagram. We are just online. We have our website, pop in and just let us know what you're thinking, and we're there. So one of us is usually always at the restaurant. So anytime somebody just wants to stop on by, like, we're open to, giving you a taste of something. First time customers do get a discount. So just ask for that if you're a first timer, and we're happy waiting for you to serve you.
Kerry, have an awesome holiday season. Cannot wait to catch up with you soon.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.